Hello, and welcome to another nerdy news update on the Meg Nerd channel. Today, in this video, we are going to cover three stories. The first story is about how the Election Commission is having another fight with Rahul Gandhi and vice versa. And then Devendra Fadnavis also stepped in the middle, and there is like source based news coming about drama hai udhar. The second update would be about the Goa minister who tried to do like a stunt in a hospital and it backfired really badly. And thank God to unions, we'll come to that. And the third update comes from the most powerful country in the world, which is the United States of America. They are seeing some massive riots. Not massive. Oh, riots bhi nahi hai. Okay, maybe they are. Well, they did burn a few cars, but they were self-driving cars. We'll get to that. Los Angeles में आग लगी है. Yeah, that's the third update. So yeah, without further ado, wait. पहले like, share, subscribe, do the things. All these people here are members who support me, so they get to see all of this live. Yeah. If you become a member, you will get to see these news updates live. We do some chilling and we discuss these stories later also, but that is only for members only. So what you get is an update. And so without further ado, let's get to the update. Update number 1. Rahul Gandhi has written a piece in the Indian Express, which is this piece. You should read it. It is called Rahul Gandhi Writes Match Fixing Maharashtra. In case you are out of the loop a little bit, the Maharashtra elections, after the Maharashtra elections, Rahul Gandhi and the Congress had made a bunch of allegations against the Election Commission about the voting numbers, right? There were some things that they had said which they pointed out which were anomalous, and they asked the Election Commission for some answers. थोड़ा सा हेनो तेनो करके the Election Commission had answered back then also. There was like a conflict going on. Now, I feel like before the Bihar elections happen, Rahul Gandhi is reiterating his claims that he had made after the Maharashtra elections as well, which is what this article is about. These are all recycled claims. He has made these before. Probably he didn't get satisfactory answers, so he's doing it again. My guess is politically he's doing it because Bihar elections are coming up and he wants to alert the Election Commission that we are at this. We are going to look at it. Okay, so he has made a few claims. I'm just going to go through them quickly and then I'm going to tell you the counters as well. His first claim is that the BJP government has rigged the Election Commission, which means that his claim is that they passed a law right before the general elections, making a committee which appoints the election commissioner. Now, this committee has two people from the government, which is Prime Minister and one minister from the cabinet, and the leader of opposition. Together, they're supposed to vote and choose the election commissioner. So, from the looks of it, right now, from the looks of it, matlab, the way it functions is that two votes will always be in the favor of the party that is ruling, and one vote, which is kind of pointless, will be for the leader of opposition. What that means is that they would have disproportionate power over appointing the election commissioner. That is his claim. And he says that this was wrong. It put the election commission completely under the ruling government, which is the BJP. The problem with that argument sort of is that before that law was actually passed, the central government was appointing the election commissioner through the president. It was kind of the same thing. What was required was a reform in the way that these will be appointed. The Supreme Court took it up and said that there should be a committee which would comprise of Prime Minister, the Chief Justice of India, and the leader of opposition who will choose the election commissioner. But they left it to the government to make this law. Right, they had given a recommendation. What the BJP government did is that they removed the Chief Justice and put in their own minister. That became a problem. That became a big problem because तुमको reform करने बोला था, not to solidify the takeover of the election commissioner, which other governments were also doing. They have just solidified it and made it official. It is a problem. I'm not saying it's not a problem. Just that the argument here kind of looks a little disingenuous, I guess. It's not. I mean, from the citizen's perspective, I feel this is a shit system to elect the election commissioner. Shouldn't be happening. The chief justice should have been there, but nahi kiya BJP ne. So that is his charge number 1. Election commission is not independent. Charge number 2. Okay, this is the big charge that he made, which is the data show that the number of registered voters in Maharashtra in 2019 Vidhan Sabha elections was 8.98 crore, which rose to 5 years later to 9.29 crore. Right? So 5 years, there was an increase. But a mere 5 months later, the number leaped to 9.70 crore. So his main claim is that 31 lakh in 5 years, then a leap of 41 lakh in just 5 months. Again, 31 lakh increased in 5 years, 41 lakh in just 5 months. How does that happen? Plus, his claim is that the total voting population of Maharashtra right now is more than its adult population. I'm not sure how he's counting the adult population because we haven't done a census since 2011. So it is approximation, the figure that he's using in that case. But there are counters for this. Okay. First, this is the Devendra Fadnavis article that came after Rahul Gandhi's article countering his claims. Okay, just have to say, Devendra Fadnavis, Chief Minister of Maharashtra, I don't understand why he's countering it and not the Election Commission officially. Because the Election Commission so far has given statements only through sources. So people like ANI, etc. are reporting it. There is an article in Indian Express, which is a decent article countering it. But even there, the answers that they got from the Election Commission are through sources. So yahan pe, I feel like Devendra Fadnavis is the one who is also talking on behalf of the Election Commission and countering Rahul Gandhi, which makes it kind of sus. Not going to lie. It's like, why did he have to respond? He was asking questions to the Election Commission. Why did he have to jump into the fray? Okay then. Just to let you know, the tone that he set for this article is important because he used all the usual, this is an urban Naxal sort of movement which is trying to destroy democracy and remove belief of the people from elections. Yada, yada, yada. The usual script goes on for a bit and then he starts countering it. Increase in voters. Now he's objected to it. Essentially, he's saying, if you want the data on how the number of voters increased in between Lok Sabha and Assembly elections, here it is. 2004, 5% more in Assembly elections. 2009, 4% more in 2014. 3% more in 2019. 1% more in 2024. 4% more. Okay. So, again, nothing new happened in 2024. So this is the figure that we have to care about. In 2024, 4% more. That is the one that Rahul Gandhi is saying that 41 lakh se badh gaya. Such a vague thing. Honestly, why did he give it in percentages? Why couldn't he just give figures? It makes it a little not clear why he did that. But there is an answer. So this is another article you should check out by the Indian Express. Now, it's an interesting article because I know that 3 people wrote it, which is Vallabh, Damini and Ritika. Now, I know Damini and Ritika, legit reporters, very good reporters, editors, they do a good job. But you will see throughout this article that they have gotten comments from sources in Election Commission. They seem to have done their own research and then added like Election Commission sources on top. I don't mind doing that. But again, it brings up the question, why isn't the Election Commission giving like a direct answer? We still don't have it. I've already told you the counter for the Election Commissioner. Increase in new voters, right? Gandhi flagged what he called incredible leap of 41 lakh voters added in Maharashtra within 5 months before the 2024 state elections. However, under election laws, Political parties are involved at every stage preparing the final role. Election authorities regularly hold meetings with political parties. During the summary revision period, weekly lists of additions and deletions are shared to allow objections. Okay, I have something to say from personal experience here. In case you don't know, last Delhi elections, I also fought as an independent candidate because I was actually mad curious to see the access that I got. And since I was a candidate, I got to do a lot of things that normal people don't really get to do, which is I got a chance to peek behind the curtain and I saw how the election commission operates. This is actually very important. So every party has like booth level agents. There are election agents which are officially appointed. The election commission kind of nudges you to appoint an election agent if you're a candidate, and also election agents of parties. Usually the agents that they appoint are senior people in the party workers, etc. Plus you have booth level agents also. Now at every stage, and I saw this, every stage, the election commission intimates both the candidate and the agents of everyone who is contesting from that seat. And you can go and check anytime you want. You can check the voter roll. You can go and check the EVM system. You can go into the strong room. You can ask for it to be unsealed just to check it out. You can do all sorts of things if you're an agent or a candidate, right? This is happening, which is basically an increase in the votes, which is like 41 lakh people increased, whatever. The thing is, election agents would be people who would go to the election commission and get the voter rolls, and they can also like build this database. They would also be intimated whenever there would be like additions and deletions happening. Having said that, I still think it's shady. I still think this 41 lakh thing is kind of shady. Because if you remember during the Delhi elections, Aam Aadmi Party did something interesting, which I don't know why Congress hasn't done yet. But what Aam Aadmi Party did was that they kept a track of the voter addition and deletion. They actually went to the people who were added or deleted to their address, because their election agents do get those addresses and the voter rolls. And they actually checked if these people exist. Have they deleted it? Are they still living there? And they found extreme anomalies in that. Now that is something the Congress needs to do in this case. What right now Congress seems to be doing is they are playing with numbers, like overall numbers on top. They are not really going in deep, and actually their election agents are not fanning out. Their workers are not fanning out, actually trying to match the voter list with the people who are living there. They haven't done that exercise, which I find very odd. They totally should. I don't know why they don't. Aam Aadmi Party actually did a fabulous job of that in the last election. And News Laundry has done like a series of articles also. You can check it out about the voting manipulation that happened in the Delhi elections. There is another excellent article you should check out by my friend Ayush Tiwari in Scroll. He did it for the Lok Sabha elections also. Wahan pe bhi, so the pura game is in voter addition and deletion, right? But this mota number is just not cutting it. You have to send people on the ground and try to find out what is actually going on. So far, Congress maybe not. So the counter is ahead of the 2024 Maharashtra Assembly elections. 1,03,727 booth level agents were appointed, and 27,000 were from the Congress. 27,000 booth level. These agents are responsible for interacting with election officers and flag any discrepancies. And what they are saying is only a fewer than 100 appeals pertaining to additions or deletions were filed. I don't understand why. So 41 lakhs se increase hua number, and only 100 appeals were filed. So when the election is happening, what the heck are these 27,000 people doing? That is my question at this point of time. Not saying this is not shady, not saying that, there is not some sort of credibility to question how did the voting percentage increase so much, etc. But I feel like there needs to be more evidence to back it, and you can totally get evidence as a party. So maybe during the Bihar elections, Hopefully, Rahul Gandhi will do that, or Congress will do that, or the regional parties will do that. Let's see. The second thing that he's saying is the inflation of voter turnout. I'm going to dismiss this really quickly because I don't buy this argument anymore after I saw what happens in the booth. So he's saying that polling turnout at 5 p.m. closed, which was at 58.22%. That was the polling turnout. Again, this is an estimated turnout. And then after the voting closed, final turnout, which was reported next morning, turned out to be 66.05%. This is unprecedented. 7.83% increase is equivalent to 76 lakh voters. Now, the counter to that, I think, is that this is not possible to rig, sort of, because again, as I'm saying, election agents and people within the voting booths, representatives of parties, get a Form 17C at the end of the day, okay? And that has to match with the total number of votes that has happened. What Election Commission does is that it gives like provisional figures from time to time, which is like every hour, they give like provisional voting figures. And that can be matched with Form 17Cs later. So the mota point I'm trying to make is that the election agents, the polling agents can easily check this with like information that they're given on the polling day and later also. Every political party has a right to go and ask for voter rolls, but there is a small problem there. Every time you go to ask for voter rolls, you have to pay a fee and they will give you hard copies. So you have to then make people sit and feed it into like a machine to get the actual data. What Rahul Gandhi has been asking for, in addition to, like clarifications, is that he wants the Election Commission to release the voter list of Lok Sabha 2024 and Maharashtra and Haryana Assembly elections 2025. He wants to match it, and he wants it in a digital format. Now, the thing is, Election Commission usually doesn't give it in a digital format because they know that once you get it in a physical format, you will have to hire more people to turn it into digital. If you just scan it with PDFs and write a script to sort of pull out the data, it's not that accurate. We have tried to scrape data also. Now it's kind of possible with AI, etc., to do it faster. But still, you need someone to do the whole thing. So Rahul Gandhi is saying you already have it. Why don't you just give it to us in digital format so that we can run some calculations and algorithms on top of it? The Election Commission is not really willing to do that, which is kind of strange. I feel like there shouldn't be any harm giving it. The other thing that Rahul Gandhi has asked for is photographs. This is important. Every voter ID has a photograph. So even when the voter roll comes, there are photographs that are on the side that are given, which you can obviously match with the person coming when they vote. Election Commission won't give that because privacy reasons. What if you sell it to a data gathering company? Already ले लिया उन्होंने. But that is what Election Commission is saying. That for privacy reasons, we are like a little reluctant. That is what sources are saying. Third, and the fourth demand that they are asking for, which is again connected to this, they want CCTV footage of the last hour of voting so that they can check how many voters actually voted, was it done properly. They want CCTV footage from the booth. Now this is where Election Commission did the shady. When the CCTV thing was asked after the Maharashtra elections for the first time, which was I think somewhere around January, February, they asked for it. There was like a lot of back and forth. Then the Haryana and Punjab High Court, they got a case from a firebrand lawyer, anti-EVM activist called Mahmood Pracha. He asked for the CCTV footage, right? The Haryana and Punjab High Court ordered the Election Commission to give him the footage. Immediately after that, the Modi government changed the rules. The Modi government changed the election rules to say that the CCTV footage will not be available to the public anymore for scrutiny. Until that point, it was the material that could have been asked for by citizens to do election scrutiny. After this case happened and after the High Court gave the order to supply the CCTV, the election rules were changed and they denied CCTV footage. Now that there friends is the biggest sus clincher that I feel we should all be focused on. ठीक है, as I said, reviewing all this drama. Okay, I gave you a bunch of counters. You can check out these articles. There are like more detailed counters, but these are the mota counters you need to know. One, the 41 lakh ka figure, right? Second, the inflation figure in the last hour. Both of these can be solved by agents, as I said. During the elections, you can basically send some people on the ground and actually check on a 41 lakh people who got added. Do they exist? Are they shady? Present some proof. And that's easily doable. Aam Aadmi Party did that exactly. News Laundry also did that exactly. And it did look very shady. So the Election Commission will not look great if they do it on a national scale. Why not? Second thing, the CCTV thing. The CCTV thing is damn shady. I think that is something that needs to be focused on more, which is why did they change the rules? Argument again that is coming from the Election Commission is that they did it for privacy reasons. What privacy reasons? Tell me what privacy reasons. I'll give you an example. I fought the election, right? My affidavit is out there for everyone to see. My number got leaked from the Election Commission office only before the affidavit went up, and it ended up with like 1,000 scam callers. I was getting an insane amount of callers offering me services for election management, booth level management, AI videos, social media services. If I need to get people from outside, I can hire people from outside. So many things. And also you have to realize that अभी तक तुम्हारा सबका नंबर सबके पास पहुंच गया है, फोटोग्राफ भी पहुंच गया है, because Aadhaar database has leaked entirely in multiple occasions. So privacy reasons, the government likes to pull up privacy reasons when it comes to things that will make them uncomfortable. But otherwise they don't give a shit. Otherwise they don't give a shit about our privacy. But when it comes to reasons which will make them uncomfortable, they're like, oh, privacy. Bullshit. I call bullshit. I think the CCTV footage should be released. I feel like it's not that big of a deal. There are other allegations which is like 12,000 booths में increase हुआ, the Kamethi seat जहाँ पे unnatural increase हुआ. But I think that's like a bit of a cherry picking happening on Rahul Gandhi's side also. There are like counters coming for that as well. I'm not going into that detail. But these were the mota allegations and the EC Kand that you need to know about. And I have told you about it. So yeah, we're done. Now you give your opinion. Update number 2. Health Minister of Goa went nuts in a hospital. Did this.
अरे who's the CMO here? CMO कौन है रे? CMO कौन है? Who's the CMO? Where is the CMO? All of you, where is the CMO? Where is he?
Where is CMO?
Call him. Pass.
If you haven't seen this clip, be prepared to see
CMO.
epic arrogance.
आता प्रेसाचो एक मनीस आयल्लो इंजेक्शन मारपाक, you cannot guide him properly. You learn to control your tongue. You're a doctor. Don't force me to act. Put your hands out first when you're standing in front of me.
What the hell?
I generally don't lose my cool. But you have to behave yourself. However much you're loaded, you will talk properly to the patient. And guide the patient. Urban health center and चल, हांगा चल म्हण तूं कित्याक रावला ना मागीर? कित्या खातीर जॉब घेता गव्हर्मेंटान? उलोवपाक रीत आसूंक जाय तुका. तूं डॉक्टर तूं. मास्क काड पयलीं, म्हाका तोंड पळोवंक जाय तुजें.
What the hell, man? I don't think any normal person talks to anyone like this. Just normal, kind, respectful person shouldn't talk to anyone like this. No matter who you are. Minister, not minister. Why would you talk like this? And why is he so hostile, man? Haath nikal, mask nikal. What the hell?
सांभाळून एका सस्पेन्शन ऑर्डर करा.
Suspend kar do. He's doing an Anil Kapoor from Nayak.
Unless you understand you're here to serve humanity. You're not here with your bloody ego. I am telling you what I'm saying. You're not authorized to speak when I'm speaking.
He didn't let him talk at all.
you please go.
Not authorized. किसने बोला?
I issue the note for suspension.
Also, you can't just suspend a doctor like this from a government hospital. By the way, you have to set up an inquiry. The doctor has a right to respond. They have to give a response. Then there would be a case, there would be an investigation, and then a suspension order would come. This whole Nayak shit doesn't work in real life. He didn't let him give a counter at all.
You get out from here.
क्या है?
Out from here. And don't report back because as long as I'm in me, not in you. You're a doctor to serve the poor people here.
Horrible.
I am suspending you. When the inquiry is initiated, you give your explanation. Eka suspension, I want him relieved right now from here. Ask him to get out from here. भाषा हांव वापरता एकदम नरम. And I am telling you, you listen. Go home. Go home.
Not letting him talk only.
Senior assistant, you go home. I am telling you to go home. I am telling you to go home. एका घरा वचून ती नाल्यार सिक्युरिटी घालून भायर मारतलो हांव तुका. एका भायर काड हांगाच्या. As the MS, you please see that he is not here on duty today. Send him home just now. You just understand one thing. You are dealing with me. I am telling you, first learn to shut up.
What is this shit show, man?
You can be anything. You want to file a case, go and file a case.
Why is
But
this
I am
guy
telling
the
you,
health
suspend it
minister?
from right now. And you go when the investigation starts, you give your explanation. That time I will consider whether I want to take you back or not. Other next 2 years, you will be suspended and you will remain as long as my tenure is. Poor people are to be served. I am asking you, telling you only this thing, that poor people are to be served.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to.
Poor people are to be served. So the background of this, why this drama is happening, there is a journalist he knows whose relative had to get a B12 injection. She went to this hospital, or the relative went to the hospital, and they were told to wait, or they were not given the injection urgently, or they got some, I don't know, got into some problem there, whatever. So then they must have called the journalist, and journalist must have called the health minister, and health minister was like, aha, I got opportunity to make video. I will show myself as Nayak. This is what I think happened, okay? Because otherwise it makes no sense for him to do this whole camera bullshit. He took a camera. ऐसे angle से सब कुछ चल रहा है, by the way. Like he sat down, this guy came, he's talking, now he's going out, the camera is still going on. This is all dramatized for a reason. He wanted to put this out there as if he's working for the poor. But where this all started was when the B12 injection was not given to the relative of a journalist, essentially.
To listen to you. When I make up my mind, I don't want to listen. I don't want to listen. I am suspending you from this moment. Go home before my blood pressure boils and I take some other action on you. You will not be in service from. You go from whatever. I also work from morning to night.
So after this drama happened, well, the doctors went on strike and he had to apologize. So the first apology that came from the doctor was this one. It is something called the Prudent Media, which is #1 TV channel for news in English and Konkani. It's like a Goa-based channel where they put this up. I apologize to Rudresh Kuttikar, doctor, and his family. I have no ego. I had no intention to hurt the medical fraternity. Having said that, I will always stand up for the discipline in GMC. That is what Vishwajit Rane, the head minister, said with this picture, right? Then he wrote like a long ass apology post on Twitter also, saying his heartfelt apology does not reflect on me, and he's doing this because the doctors have gone on strike and they are demanding that he should apologize, which he did, and he's saying that please go back to work because I did. Now the doctors are saying na, aise nahi, go to the hospital, come, you insulted him in the hospital, now you come to the hospital and do a video again of you apologizing to him in front of all of us. ये prudent media वगैरह नहीं चलेगा. So it has escalated. It has escalated badly. This is what the doctors are saying. May shut down services if Goa doctor berated by minister rejects apology. the doctor himself has rejected the apology. Rudresh Kuttikar, the doctor who was seen being humiliated by the Goa health minister, has rejected his apology over the matter. Kuttikar, along with other doctors at the Goa Medical College and Hospital over the incident, have said that the strike would continue. Medical services would be shut if Rane does not publicly apologize. His remarks came at a press conference where he addressed after Rane in an exclusive conversation with India Today, agreed that his intent was right but words were wrong. Wait, ये India Today का clip भी होगा ना? Oh, so this is the India Today clip.
Now, listen in first. Ishwarya, stay on with me. Listen in as Ishwarya had that first conversation and an apology from Goa Health Minister.
There is a video of yours.
Yeah.
You are entering the hospital, and a lot of people believe that the tone and the tenure that you used, that was not correct. Can you tell us what exactly happened?
No, actually, what happened is I had gone to see a patient, and generally, what happens is always pressure on the system that people want point of care to be excellent. People want systems, and I've been health minister for the last 13, 14 years. I've always seen and transformed the health sector in the state of Goa. And there was a press reporter who called me saying that his mother-in-law is not being given a particular injection because she was in a lot of pain. So unfortunately, a 77-year-old, and generally I'm very particular about discipline. That outburst, I've already put it on my social media that it was inappropriate. I have no ego. I may have hurt his sentiments, but unfortunately
Okay.
that provoked me the other day that a 77-year-old lady, ultimately I'm here to serve the poor people. I'm here to serve the people of the state of Goa and accountable to the people. I have always worked to see that the people don't go through the pain that I am going through with my mother suffering from cancer. Who was a fourth stage patient who's
Wait, he's comparing B12 injections with cancer now?
also being basically she is basically being treated by the doctors from the health service and saved her life also on a couple of occasions from the doctors of the health services. I do agree that it was not appropriate in terms of the way I reacted at that moment. I could have called him and had a word with the doctor separately, but it just happened. This video went viral, and
It didn't just happen. It didn't. It was planned. What are you talking about? The camera guy was someone you took along. It just didn't happen. What is this garbage? He did this intentionally. It was choreographed.
I apologize to the doctor fraternity if I've hurt their sentiments, but discipline is something.
Also, sorry, but if you had to like scold the doctor, whatever, could have taken him to a room and done it privately. Why did he do it in front of his entire staff? Why did he do it? Why did he take a video and put it out? Why would you do that? Why would you humiliate a doctor like this? It's just not done.
That needs to be maintained in the government hospital. But once again, through your channel, ma'am, I would like to apologize once again to the doctor and his family if I have hurt his sentiment. I have not even issued the process of suspension of the doctor. That was never going to be in my mind. So when the chief minister called me up, there was never question about.
Oh, I'm sorry. What? So he only said कि इसको suspend करो, don't let him work. He threatened that the guard should be called, the security people should be called so that he can be kicked out. He didn't want him to work even there on that day. And he's like, oh, मेरा तो कोई intention नहीं था. ऐसे ही lols करने गए थे हम वहाँ पे.
Me, I immediately told him that there's no file or anything moved in this direction, and so it's fine with me, whatever statement being made.
And yeah, what Lakshmi is saying is true. The doctor had nothing to do with the patient also. Probably had no context also. Why the guy had come. Why the minister is here and what is he talking about. Because he didn't let the doctor talk. Yeah, so basically now we know this why the apology was rejected. Clearly, insincere as apology will be rejected. Kuttikar said Rane's was a studio apology, which was insufficient. A genuine apology would involve the health minister visiting the incident site and apologizing in front of people within 24 hours. If this demand isn't met, the strike will continue, potentially leading to a shutdown of services.
We, the doctors of GMC, strongly condemn the abuse of the verbal abuse of our own colleague that happened in emergency medicine and trauma department casualty on Saturday by the honorable minister.
Come in front.
Why I don't understand. Honorable बोलने की क्या जरूरत है? By the minister is okay. Honorable बोलने की जरूरत नहीं है हर चीज में. Unless it's the honorable prime influencer. No.
Come side.
Honorable.
What happened was a deeply hurtful event to the whole community of doctors across the state and beyond. We also have put forth our request to the Dean of GMC to file an FIR against the videography and photography which was allowed in the campus against the Supreme Court ruling.
Unfortunately, incident happened to one of my colleagues, and his specific
That's a good point. Like, you can't just take videos in the casualty ward like that. You can't. But the minister just walked in with a camera doing that. My God. So many violations.
demand is that the health
Oh, and on top of this, guys, I have to say, they haven't asked for a resignation. They haven't asked the minister to resign or anything. All they want is an apology on the incident side, a sincere apology from the minister, which should be videographed and told to the people. Show it to the people. Till now, Vishwajit Rane has gone to local media channel, India Today, given a sad apology on it, and they're just not buying it. Clearly, this is escalating. We will keep a track of this. But I have to say one thing after seeing all of this. I have hope. Unions work. All you people who are capitalist loving people need to understand this is working because the doctors have unionized and they are basically saying ki boss ye nahi chalega. This sort of behavior we cannot have. See, Animation also said it at the same time. This is why we need unions everywhere. Here's why I think unions are a good idea. First, if you are a minister attacking a normal doctor in a hospital, who is more powerful? Minister. This is an individual, he is a minister. If it's a doctor who is attacking a person who is a part of a union, which is a collective of doctors, which can call for a strike like this, which can call for an apology or threaten to shut down services, because in this case, the minister was wrong, not the doctor. Now who is more powerful? The union. And I feel like unless you are a part of a powerful body or an entity or just generally more powerful, politicians don't listen. I've seen this happen time and again. Unless it's like a collective of people which is saying something or demanding something, they don't listen. And who can do that? A union can do that. Whether it's a workers union, whether it's a doctors union, whether it's an engineers union, CA union, whatever you want to call it, it needs to basically be a gathering of people who can put pressure on politicians. And that's why, friends, unions are not a bad idea. Having said that, I feel like the minister had it coming from him. If I was there, like maybe, I don't know, in my head at least, I would have also demanded his resignation as the union and would have put pressure that way as well. But they didn't. They're just asking for an apology. I hope the minister goes and apologizes and does not repeat this. I doubt that because our nerd friend Atharva has done some more digging, and this is not the first time he has done this. This is not the first time. Friends, this guy is a serial offender. Look at this. Not the first time. He has a 3-month-old video.
रेकॉर्ड हा मेमो कितले दिला ते तुका मेमरी नसतली तुका सस्पेंड करता हांवें
Suspension. Same.
एका सस्पेन्शन ऑर्डर म्हाका आयज जाय तूं 2 मिनटां भितर म्हाका सांगता नावा काय तुका फुडले 2 वर्सां सस्पेन्शनाचेर दवरूं दिता नांव दी रे
So,
कोणाक दिल्ले मेमो मागीर
सगळ्या ड्रायव्हर क्लीन करिना सगळे
म्हाका सांग कितले ड्रायव्हराक मॅक्सिमम मेमो दिल्या
सगळ्यांक दिल्ले सगळे
कितले मेमो दिल्या
11 ड्रायव्हरांक सगळ्यांक
कितले चड मेमो कोणाक गावले
So same pattern. This is from July 2023. Health Minister Vishwajit Rane again conducted a surprise inspection, gets furious at 2 nurses and suspends them. Again, camera ke saath.
This should not happen. When I visit the hospital, this should be tip-top and nurses are well paid and you should do your duty properly. I don't want, and don't be pointing fingers at everybody. Who was taking the register? Who was calling out the numbers? Who was calling out the numbers? Both of you. I want your names. I want both their names and I want them to be kept off duty and they will report to your office today itself. I want them off duty. You can leave now. And both their names.
Wow. So essentially he does this. He does this, basically creates this drama, takes like a camera to suspend people. And the third time he did it, which is now with that doctor, yeah, it backfired. It backfired badly and I'm glad it did. If this is like a habitual thing that he does, it's not a great thing to do. Moving on to update number 3, we go to the United States of America, where Los Angeles, the second biggest city in the United States is burning. It is a burning, friends. These are protests happening for the last 3 days. These are cars burning. Like as if you didn't know. Line se car burn. Marines and National Guard has also been sent. I'll tell you what all of this is. I'll give you some context. Just visuals dekh lo pehle. There are people there waving Mexican flags. The protesters are also waving Mexican flags while they are doing this. And the LAPD, which is the Los Angeles Police Department, is also like trying to do riot control. The National Guard has been called, and now they're saying the Marines have been called. So what is going on here? Donald Trump hates immigrants, or one of his biggest platforms when fighting the US elections was an anti-immigrant platform. It's his version of urban Naxals, you can call it that way, which is every time some problem happens, he blames it on the filthy illegal immigrants. Now he defines illegal immigrants in a very vague way. He says that other countries are so jealous of America that they're sending criminals to work in America, steal jobs of good white people, and crime karne ke liye, child kidnapping karne ke liye. Basically, all the bad things happening in America are either Biden's fault or the illegal immigrants' ka fault. Okay. So when he became president, one of the big things that he had promised is that America is now going to do the biggest illegal immigrant operation, or anti-immigrant operation for that matter, where the ICE, which is their agency which deals with immigration, is going to go around and detain people and kick them out. So when Trump came to power, you must have seen this amazing scene where when Adarniya Shri Sir Prime Influencer had gone to America to visit Doland, there was a plane full of Indians who were shackled, rope se, put into a cargo plane and flown to Amritsar. 4 planes full of illegal immigrants had been sent back. Okay, these were people who were caught on the border trying to cross illegally. Now, it has escalated a little bit from there. What is happening is that Donald Trump has now put his sights on this wonderful city called Los Angeles. Los Angeles, may 1/3 people are not American. As in, like, they are either on visa or maybe they are there illegally also. A lot of Mexican people come there, a lot of immigration in general. But essentially, Los Angeles is one of those cities which is seen as a immigrant-friendly city, right? Their immigration laws are simpler, people are more accommodative there, etc., etc. It is a sanctuary city, as they call it. Yes, Raj, that's exactly what I was saying. It is a sanctuary city. So essentially, it's been like leaning left, you can call it. It is friendly, democratic. Right now, at least, it is friendly towards the Democrats, right? Their governor is called Gavin Newsom. He's a bit of a character. He really wants to become president, by the way. While Trump is taking this anti-immigrant stand, LA is essentially, the city of LA and California in general, is one of those places in America which is sort of running a counter-narrative. Trump has set his sights on this wonderful place and now wants to go after it. So on Friday, American time, the ICE started to do some raids. They went to a Home Depot. Now, a Home Depot, from my knowledge, is a place, a giant shop where you get everything. That's what it is. Because there are giant shops in America where you get everything. So they did a raid on Home Depot or their parking lot, and then did another one later. But they detained some 15-20 people on day one, right? There were some protesters that came in when they heard that ICE is here, they're doing raids. And these are all full police geared, scary looking people, okay? Like proper, how do I put it? A chat was Star Wars mein kaun hote hai re? Soldiers? Stormtroopers. Yes, sorry. So they're like proper stormtrooper gears mein aate hai. And like they kidnap people, put them in trucks and take them to detention centers, right? They've been doing that, and what has been happening is that people are trying to fight back. First day there were like 50 protesters, 100 protesters who fought back, who basically tried to prevent the whole thing. Didn't succeed as much, which continued next day. Another Home Depot mein there were a larger amount of protesters. More people were detained. So till now, from the news, about 60 people have been detained from both of these protests. And then things escalated, where a bunch of protesters gathered in downtown Los Angeles, and they called a driverless service called Waymo. There is a driverless cab service called Waymo, which was called in 5 cars were called. They were lined up, literally driverless cars, 5 cars. Then they spray painted them saying F the police, F ICE, or all sorts of things. Long live America. It is a place where we welcome immigrants. Da 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 da. And then they set them on fire. This is the scenes that you're seeing are basically those Waymo cars being burnt. So, from the looks of it, there is no loss of life that has happened till now. 3 policemen have been injured, and how many have been detained? 60 people have been arrested and 3 officers are injured. So 60 people have been arrested, detained, and 3 officers are injured. That is part 1 of the story. Part 2 of the story is a little more fascinating. When the incident started growing, what was happening was that these ICE people are getting a lot of hate from the local population. So the local population has started retaliating, and whenever they get like raid ho raha hai, so a bunch of people will end up there and they would protest. That is exactly what happened in this place. Paramount, Compton. So this is where the protest happened. So these are the 2 places where there were raids that were about to happen. Protesters showed up, ICE ko block kar diya, and they were not letting them go. Now Trump is getting pissed off, and he has sent about 4,000 National Guard troops and 700 Marines. Essentially, National Guards are, from my understanding till now, they are essentially an army with a state that can be deployed by the center. The way this works is that the governor, who is like the chief minister, he's the one who will control the National Guard of the state. Okay, but the deployment can be done by the center, but they can only do it with the permission of the governor. Now, in this case, Trump hasn't taken the permission of Newsom, right? Then the second thing is the LA police, the LAPD is the one who is sort of doing the riot control mostly. ICE is an organization that is going on and doing all these raids. So LAPD are the ones who are sort of protecting the ICE people, also doing crowd control. So what Trump is now trying to do is that he's sending the National Guard without taking the governor's permission to protect the ICE people while they are doing the raids. The target, they've literally set a target, these crazy people, is that they have to detain, arrest, or basically detain or arrest at least 3,000 people per day now, which is ridiculous. They've been given a target. So in desperation, ICE is just going everywhere and doing it. The second thing is the Marines. Now, Marines are basically the army. National Guard is also kind of the army, but it is still under state control. They are like a federal union. In America, federalism matters, unlike us. Federalism matters. The governor controls a lot of things. The state has its own powers. The Marines, though, the army, are not supposed to be there, from what I understand, right? Trump-controlled army, not allowed. States have their own jurisdictions. So now the governor is threatening to sue Donald Trump. So he got more pissed off. Now that's why he's sending an army. Another thing that is happening is that Trump is using this old-ass law, which is an insurrection act which was made in like 1800s to justify him sending the National Guard and the Marines. Essentially, he and his people have been using the language of, oh, insurrection against America is happening. So that is why we had to send all of these forces to control it. Again, till now, there have been no deaths. If you count the 5 cars that were burnt, even those were driverless. Sure, the company can probably sue the protesters. I don't know. But at the same time, things are escalating, things are getting bad, this might get worse. Now, protests in America do happen from time to time, and usually they do turn violent. Now, when I say violent, there is a bit of a nuance that needs to be added here. Let's say protest often turn to vandalism, and that is one of the interesting things that happens in America. I've seen that happen in a bunch of protests now over the last few years. The good thing is that their politicians take protests rather seriously, unless it's against Israel. Then they don't take it seriously. But otherwise, if it's for other things, looks like they're taking it seriously. There's a lot of public sailab that happens, and they basically, the politicians tend to sort of react to it. Trump is a bit of an exception because he's gone into like a full fascism mode at this point of time. हमारे यहाँ पे in India, if you want to like compare, we can't compare, but still if you want to compare, हमारे यहाँ पे भी protest होते हैं. हमारे यहाँ पे we saw the biggest protest probably in the world, which is the farmers protest. We saw the Shaheen Bagh protest, which is also was an existential protest for a lot of people. The CA-NRC protest. We saw the JNU thing happening. There were a bunch of other not in my name, etc. A few protests, restless protests. Manipur में protest हुआ. All these things keep happening in our country as well. But I find that in America, as a country, they take their protests a little more seriously. I feel like their protests are a little more effective also. यहाँ पे I feel like we'll have to do a lot to actually fix accountability for our politicians. For example, the whole thing about how the state is different from the center is so clear in a mature democracy like USA that they can't even send like army or National Guard or cannot interfere in these law and order type situations unless explicitly the governor asks for it. हमारे यहाँ पे ideally that should happen, but हमारे यहाँ पे the language in the law is so vague that government can say emergency and then dismiss the government and sort of come in and take over the entire state. We also have like governors who are acting like absolute dictators by their own right, where they are not letting bills pass, they are not really listening to the state governments. So हमारे यहाँ पे काम करना बाकी है. I feel like America में the reason why these things become more effective is because of the state federalism, the federal structure in general. Probably we need to also move towards that. We are a union of states after all. Who knows? That's it from me and my channel. Thank you so much for watching this nerdy news update. I hope you checked out the video that I dropped on Monday. It's doing well. It's called Why the World Hates India. Did a lot of work on that, me and my team. I have named my team Nerd Squad. The Nerd Squad has done a good job on that video. So please watch it on my channel and do keep supporting. Do become a member so that you can become a watcher while these things are being recorded. And thank you so much. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.